Hi, welcome to our Ed Talks, little snippets of education to help you heal and feel empowered. I'm Justine Calderwood, pelvic floor physical therapist and birth recovery specialist. So I hear often from moms that they want to get back to doing something. Let's say it's running, and their provider has told them, just listen to your body and just get back to doing whatever you did before. And I'll tell you what, that's not great advice, because what if you run into issues like a lot of my moms do, where they feel like, you know what, I'm having pain, or I've had some kind of changes, I'm having some leaking or other issues, and I don't know how much to push through. So they don't know what to do. They don't know how much to ignore, what to pay attention to. They kind of feel lost between where they're at and where they want to be. So I'm here to tell you, really, we want to do some kind of assessment, like what's actually going on. How does your body tolerate doing some of the elements of the type of workouts or the type of activity that you want to do? So let's take running, for instance. If you want to be able to run, well, can you even jump in place without, say, having leaking? If not, how is it realistic to be able to go out and run, right? So what we do is we actually monitor for 3 signs. So if you're having any kind of pain anywhere, okay, if you're having any pressure into the pelvic area, lower abdomen, or if you're having incontinence. Now, incontinence really is, yes, bladder, where you're leaking urine, but it can also be incontinence of stool. So if you feel like you can't hold back your bowel movements, you're having a little bit of leaking or smearing, or even gas. So if you feel like you have gas and you can't control that, and things are kind of sneaking out without you intending it to. So again, pain, pressure, or any leaking. Those are 3 things that we monitor for. And we really look at, is it more than, say, a 2 out of 10? So if you were to rate your pain, for instance, and you're saying, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain is at a 4, that's too much. If it's more than a 2, your body's really asking you to pay attention and to modify it and treat it with care before continuing. So those are the 3 signs that we look for. And then the 3 areas that we actually measure for and assess are, we're going to look for strength, we're going to look for balance, and your tolerance for impact. So we actually here at the Healing Spot do something that's called an after baby return to exercise screen, where we look at how is your body doing with activity. So I want to tell you just a little bit about that. And then I'm going to give you a little tip on, if you are having issues with, say, impact, on how to modify that and to start a little slower to work your way up to being able to run. So the after baby return to exercise screen here at the Healing Spot is 10 simple tests ranging from 30 seconds to a minute. We do that right here in the office, or we can do it online in a video. So here in a moment, I want to actually give you a little test to do at home to test your tolerance for impact. Let's get started. I'm going to have you try this simple test at home. What you're going to do is just get a metronome, something that can mark some time for you and have a rhythm. So I just had this app for a metronome. We're going to go at 150 beats per minute. So if you can hear that, and you're just going to hop in place. You're going to do this for 1 minute. So this looks like this. Okay, so while you do that for that minute, you're going to just be monitoring again for any pain, any pelvic pressure, or any leaking. If you start to experience that, you're just going to check in with your body. If you're having pain, is it more than a 2? If so, I want you to stop. If it's at, say, a 1 or a 2, it's okay to continue. You're going to time yourself and see how long can you do for that minute before you have to stop. Next, what I'm going to show you, if you're having issues with that, if you get to a minute and you've passed it, no issues, great. You passed that 1 test of the after baby return to exercise screen. However, if you've failed, where you're having pain, pressure, or leaking, and now you may be wondering, okay, what do I do to practice this? How do I build my tolerance up so eventually I can hop in place and therefore start running, right? So I'm going to show you that next. So here we are. I'm going to show you just a little progression of a bouncing / jumping series. So we're going to start real low. So if you have a ball that you can sit on, this is great. And I just want you to try some bouncing. Now, don't overthink this. You don't have to try to think about, when should I breathe? Should I be contracting anything? Should I be doing anything, say, special? No, just do some bouncing. And you have full control here. Small bounces, If that's all you can do without pain, pressure, or leaking, that's where you can start. If you can do a little bit more aggressive or harder bounce, go ahead and do that, as long as you're not having any pain, pressure, or leaking more than that 2 out of 10. Okay, the next step from this, maybe this is too easy for you, or you've passed this. Now you can start to improve with this. The next step would be to go to standing. What we can do here is feet narrow, and you can just try some bouncing here. Again, you have full control. A slow bounce is different than, say, a harder, faster bounce. Okay, for many of you, if you are a mom and you've had a baby recently, you might have kiddos around, right? So it's perfectly fine to hold baby. Sometimes we have to do this to soothe them. That counts, okay? So this can be a really great way to work on improving your ability, but still taking care of your kiddos. So that's one way, is having feet narrow, okay? Then what we want to do when you start to pass that and build your tolerance up, we go wide feet, okay? Again, so this is going to make you feel a little more compromised into that pelvic area, but again, you have full control how hard and how intense you do that, okay? Then from there, again, you work your way up. You can come back here, and then you can even try, maybe not a full-on bounce or jump if that's too much. We can even try just hitting the heels a little harder, okay? And then we can go from there, wide, again, hitting the heels a little harder, until you can come back to that narrow and start to jump, okay? So that gives you a progression. I want to say one thing about our after baby return to exercise screen is we usually do that between 6 and 12 weeks postpartum or later. So even if it's been, say, a year or more, let's say that you've had your baby, it's still a very useful tool to find out where you're starting at. So it doesn't have to be done so soon after having your baby, but we do wait that at least 6 weeks after having baby before we test that. So if you have specific questions or you want a little guidance, please use the link below and book a consultation call. We can either do that via phone or on a video call. Thanks for coming to this Ed Talk.